Gabe Bach and Jordan Pugh with you, and we're watching tape on safety Armani Watts. Jordan Pugh, welcome back. Your overall thoughts on Armani Watts after his freshman year. Now we're talking about spring ball entering sophomore season at the free safety position.
Armani Watts. He's
the well-dressed Armani.
There you go, the electrician.
That's right. He's bringing the whitest, brother.
Yes, sir. This is what I say about Armani.
He's a pun artist's dream. I got to tell you that.
I love the electrician. I mean, I like it. That's something you got to put on billboards.
Yeah, it suits him, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's right there. Well-dressed Armani. I mean, he's a college student, so we can leave that one out. But yeah, the electrician, I like that one. That's a good one.
Because he's not necessarily the finesse player that sometimes you make him out to be.
No.
Even I called him that, and that wasn't true because maybe he doesn't play the run great right now. I think that's coming, but he plays the pass really well.
Right. Well, if you look at it, when you talk about finesse players, if you play defense, you're not a finesse player.
Right.
We save that for the offensive guys. That's why they avoid getting hit. But, there's like you said, guys have different strengths. They have different weaknesses. Now, when you look at Armani, I think he's the impact player of the defense. So as a freshman, you come in, you play. You have, 56 tackles, 3 picks. You have an impact on the defense. But you also have growing pains. And his growing pains were tackling in open space. That was very evident throughout the year. So when you look at Armani, I think his greatest strength is his range. So he can go sideline to sideline, numbers to numbers. He can go get the ball, great ball skills, instinctual. But the thing that's going to make or break him is his open field tackling. And so when you look at the strengths versus the weaknesses, his strengths outweigh his weaknesses because you can always get better at tackling. But that's something that he has to fix in the spring and get ready for the season.
All right, let's do some play-by-play. We've got 4 plays on him. We'll start with Thanksgiving night.
Okay.
And we'll start with a tackle that he made in the LSU game. Ronnie, roll the tape. As we roll this, you'll see Armani up top left with the long sleeves. What are you going to see on this play?
Well, what you see on this play, first off, is you see him closing. When you talk about open field tackling, you want your defender to close. So you want to close the space between the ball carrier and the defender so it doesn't give him time to move. You know what I mean?
Or get ahead of steam.
Exactly. Yep. And so that's what you want to see. You want to close and you want to strike, and that's exactly what he did here. One of the things that you see on tape also is it was more of a 2-man coverage. So now with him, being now he's tight, trying to disguise it. He's got to get deeper because those DBs and linebackers are counting on him to get him over the top. But what you see from here is you kind of see the ability to understand what he's doing. So when you see him down in the box like that, you see him disguising that coverage. You're thinking man across the board if I'm the LSU quarterback.
Okay.
And so
it's quarterback confusion right there.
Exactly. So you're disguising what you're doing. You don't want to give him everything.
Right.
But at the same time, you don't want to give up your position either. And so when you see that what he was doing there, but then you see him coming downhill, coming to make that tackle and getting his head across on the defender, that was something that's big, and that's something where you can see the ability to tackle in open space, but that's something that he still has to improve on.
So we saw some good, bad, and ugly on that one play, didn't we?
Exactly.
Because what you're saying is he kind of made himself on pre-snap alignment susceptible to the deep ball.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
And Burns actually thought he was going to be deeper because he was giving him up.
Exactly. When you look at Burns on that play, if we can take it back to the beginning, if you look at Burns on that play, you can see him taking inside leverage. That's what you want to do. But he's expecting the safety to be outside of him and high. And so the thing about Armani is he has to learn that you can disguise, but you can only disguise to a certain point. You can't give up your responsibility.
Sure.
So that's the bad that you saw on the play. The good is he recovered for, a 3-4 yard gain, something like that. You can live with that play as a defender. But you saw the good, bad, the ugly all in that one play.
Yeah, and LSU, their quarterback was not very good. But one thing he is good at is throwing the deep ball, especially identifying a mistake and throwing the deep ball to Durrell. Or not identifying the mistake, closing his eyes and just heave-hoing it deep, hoping Durrell would come up and make the catch. And a lot of times that's what happens.
That's very true. That's very true. When you have a receiver that ability that he has, man.
Yeah.
Hey, go get it. I'm just gonna throw it as far as I can. Go get it. But that's just part of the growing pains of being a young player, being a true freshman playing. He'll learn and he'll understand what he has to do.
We're about to see my second favorite play from our Armani Watts all year. It's from ULM, the UL Monroe game, and it was that big interception he had. The wide shot doesn't give us a perfect view of it, but we have 2 more. And if you come in late, let's see the ball skills here.
Right there.
Yeah, that one's not a good angle, but you're about to see a much better angle. From what you know on this play, break it down as we start seeing it in slow motion.
People who don't understand football, or the people who do understand the game of football and don't really understand defense, they don't understand the significance of that play. He came from the opposite side of the field with the numbers, and he caught the ball basically on the other numbers. As a coach and as a player, that's exactly what you want. You want a guy who can make up for mistakes.
That's right.
So basically, we had a man who was beat on the play. Armani came and saved the day. But
can we run it one more time?
But not only did he come and save the day, but you got to understand where he came from. So we're looking at a cover two.
He's way over above
looking
the
at
other
a cover
hash.
two. But he's able to read the quarterback. Mm-hmm. So you got to understand as a safety, especially young guys, when they see the quarterback roll out, they don't understand that the ball is usually going to come back out. Not unless you're looking at, NFL caliber type guys who are going to throw it to that sideline. That's a bad play by that quarterback, but Armani makes him pay, and that's exactly what you want. And he shows off his range, his hands, his ball hawking ability. It's all in one play. That's probably the best play he had the entire season. If you're talking about one complete play, and because it shows you everything that he has, it shows his vision, awareness, all that, and then it also shows his understanding of the game. Because when you see a quarterback really in a sprint out like that quarterback was, or a scramble kind of play, there's somebody who's running deep. They always teach you if there's one in front, there's one behind, and they teach the receivers that on a scramble ability or a scramble play, a sprint out. If something happens, somebody come back, somebody go deep. And so as a defensive back, you have to know that, and that's what you saw on that play. He took the deep guy and got the reward for it.
Yeah, I got to imagine if you're a coordinator or a position coach and you're breaking down effort tape, you're looking at that as an effort play too. Because if you kind of think, well, it's their side, what would have happened right there? Josh Walker would have been exposed on that tight end who might have caught a bad pass and gone to the house.
Exactly.
But instead, it was an interception because the guy made an effort.
Made an effort play, and sometimes you just got to do that sometimes, and sometimes you get the reward for the effort.
Yeah, he sure got rewarded for that. Absolutely, that's why we're talking about it.
There you go.
The electrician, Armani Watts.
Electrician, I love it.
UL Monroe and a tackle here. Let's go back to play number 3 and a tackle that he made in the Louisiana Monroe game. JP.
Big play. Now, this goes back along the lines with the Devontae Harris play. You're looking at the quarterback 3-step drop, and he's immediately on his receiver. As a defensive back, this is my favorite type of play to break on because you know that ball's coming right now, especially when you're talking about a guy who's on a tight end, maybe a slot, and you see that 3-step. Yeah. The only thing he can do is throw 5 yards and less. And so if you know that as a defensive back, you can key the quarterback to the receiver. Oh, all day, I'm going for the pick. I'm going for the hit. And that's exactly what you see. That's a mature play from Armani Watts. That's a maturity play. That's a play from a junior or a senior because you're understanding situations. Yeah. You're understanding the down and distance. You're understanding what you're getting from the quarterback. And that's something that you get excited about as a defensive back. Or if you're Chavis, that's what you love to see.
Perfectly timed because the flag didn't get called.
There you go.
If that had been Alabama, the freshman might have gotten a flag on it.
This is what you say as a defensive back. No flag, no foul.
Yeah.
No flag, no foul.
If it was no flag, then it was a really good play.
No flag, no foul.
Absolutely. That was good timing. I mean, it was right there. It was a 50-50 call for the official. Right. He did not call it. Exactly. You couldn't beat that play then.
And another thing, we can run the tape back if we see it from the slow motion angle. I want to say he got his hand. He had one hand on the ball, one hand for the tackle.
Yeah.
So that's what they teach. You'll see it on this angle right here. The one thing you want to teach your defensive back, if you're going to break up the ball, make sure you secure the tackle. You see his left arm come in, secures the tackle, breaks up the pass.
Brilliant.
And so that's exactly what you want. You can't teach it any better than that.
Oh, that's brilliant. A lot of times when you gamble as a DB, especially as a corner on an island, sometimes he's not a corner on an island. Right. But a lot of times, what do we see? When they gamble, they go 100% all out for the pick.
Yep.
And then if they don't get it, what is it? House call.
There you go. And so, I mean, that's great teaching tape. You know, the play before, great effort. This one, that's how you break up a pass.
That's really good. All right, the final play, I think the play of the year for Armani Watts.
Right.
And it was an unbelievable play. And really, A&M rolled to victory against South Carolina. Might have been a different story had Watts not made this play. And his first college game, JP.
Right. And when you look at this play, you're looking at a true cover two. Now, if anybody knows anything about the game of football, cover 2, your biggest weakness is right down the middle of the field, and that's exactly what South Carolina attacked, the middle of the field.
Yep.
But it's on the safeties. They have to make that play, and that goes back to range. Now, if you look at the view, it's Watts and it's Matthews. You love that as a coach. Both your safeties are in the vicinity of the play. But Watts ended up making the play, breaking the ball up. Great play, great timing, great aggressiveness. You talk about a finesse player. There's nothing finesse about that play at all. He has to disrupt that ball from the receiver, and that's exactly what he did. Great vision on the quarterback. One of the hardest things to do when you're a cover 2 safety.
Yeah, we can't watch that play enough. Let's watch it 2 more times.
One of the hardest things that you can do as a safety, as a cover 2 safety, is when you have, like you see right here in the picture, when you have 2 receivers streaking down the field, you have one going down the middle and one going down the hash. That is one of the hardest things to do because that quarterback has really, especially if it's 4 verts on each side, that quarterback has a 2-way go. So that quarterback can go either way. And so you have to be able to read, detect his eyes, and you have to be able to break. And he did all those things on that play.
Yeah, he really did. Oh, that was great. And Spurrier realized cover 2, and they, like he does, they utilized the middle of the field.
And attacked the weakness.
Yeah, it was pretty special. So what did we learn about Watts today? The good, the bad, and where he projects as a player?
We learned that he's the best defensive back on the team as of right now. I think Justin Evans is pushing him. I think he's pushing him. But we learned that he's the best. We learned that there's a lot of maturity that he has to have. As far as athletic ability, he's got it. You're talking about range, got it. Speed, got it. Awareness, quickness. Just the tackling ability and open space. That's what he has to fix. So those are his strengths and his weaknesses.
The electrician.
There you go.
I'm looking forward to seeing him as a sophomore.
I can't wait.
All right, that's Armani Watts. And with Jordan Pugh, I'm Gabe Bach here on TexAgs.com.